just having a hard time with my camera.
1 second.
Too high resolution.
Okay. I will do an announcement on my Discord as well. Let me. Okay. There we go.
Can you see the bags under
There we go.
a little bit?
There we go. Hopefully it will work.
I think we're live.
But let me check if it's not lagging.
All right.
Yeah, it usually takes like 1 or 2 minutes to load in. I'm not sure why. European Twitch is acting weird lately. I had this problem like this week and last week. I never had this before, like when making interview streams. Let me check. Yeah, it's lagging a bit. Okay. Could you check if it's lagging for you? If it's not a big thing to ask?
I'm watching it right now. It looks pretty good.
Isn't it laggy? Like our camera? If I'm moving my hands?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, then I guess we have to just wait 1 minute or 2.
It seems a little better.
Yeah, it takes like 1 or 2 minutes. Like I said, I'm not sure why. I have a wired connection. It's never been a problem in my 10 years. I'm not sure why. Started like at the end of the last week, so. Is it better now? If I'm moving my hands?
Seems to be. There's a bit of a delay,
Is it
obviously,
smooth?
but seems fairly smooth, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah. Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello, everybody who's watching the VOD after the stream. Hello.
Eddig jó minden? Jó,
Welcome.
jó, köszönöm, Petya. I made an announcement, if I'm correct. Yep. Okay. Akkor minden jó, ugye? Lehet hallani is őket. Can you guys and girls hear everyone? Everyone of us?
Sorry, I'm back. Sorry.
Let's make a mic check, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Lehet hallani mindenkit, Petya?
Same.
I feel that.
I guess. My chat is not active today. I'm not sure why, but
I'll give it a little bit for some people to join in. We just put up our announcements too, so.
Mosi, nagyon szépen köszönöm a 70-et. Jó a hang egyébként, Mosi? Tényleg nagyon szépen köszönöm. Jó a hang, Mosi. Jó a hang, jó a kép. Is everything good, smooth? Egy kicsit laggos a stream. Mennyire laggos? Mennyire laggos? They're saying that it's a bit laggy. Szia, Curata, neked is. Nagyon laggol, hölgyek, urak? Is it very laggy? I'm moving my hands like an idiot now. That is just here and there, making a Bionicle dance.
Seems decent to me. I mean,
Decent? Okay. Azt mondják, hogy nekik jó egyébként. Hölgyek, urak, visszajelzés. So yeah, for those who will watch live with us, usually at these type of streams, I'm always watching chat, but I do not talk with the chat at these type of streams, if I can say so, because of course there will be an edited video later a bit. So for those who are following or subbing or leaving a comment, I will watch back and thank everyone, and also go back to comments and speak with those who has been in here with us today. So yeah, I think that if we are good to go, we should start. If you're up to that. For me.
All right.
Okay. Okay, so first thing first, I would like to say that I'm very thankful and very honored that all of you have accepted my request for this video interview of mine, which show is called Dev Life, and it's really has been in my mind for years, but this year I started making it. And my goal, like I said, I was saying, is to, like, you know, have the players put together with developers and get to know each other and close the gap between them. So yeah, first thing first, I would like to ask all of you for a little bit of introduction.
Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. Hello,
Yeah.
everybody. I go by Markle. I am the PR manager as well as a writer for Team Kanohi, the developers of Bionicle Masks of Power. So that's what I do on the team.
Okay.
And I am Joe Cool 1231, the creator and founder of Team Kanohi, and creator of Master Power, Bionicle Master Power. Which to specify.
That's the game.
Yeah, that's the game. I do a lot of stuff on it, and I have done a lot
Okay.
of stuff on it for several years now.
Thank you. And then I'm Lucy. I'm only the 3D art lead. That's all I do.
Okay.
Only the 3D art.
Only lead all the 3D art.
I can see and sense the strict and good friendship between three of you with all the side jokes. Nice. Okay, and okay, let's begin with another question. What was your first contact with video games? This question goes, of course, to all of you. Like, what was the very first contact of video games, if you remember?
Video games
that?
as a whole?
Yep, or if you can name the very first video game that you have been playing, what could you remember from your past?
I was a wee kid.
Okay.
Played a lot of Wii.
Okay.
Oh, I thought you meant like you were tiny.
I mean, it was also. I was both. I was a
Do you
wee
know,
kid
do you
playing
know
the
that
Wii.
joke that there was a Destroy All Humans game only made for Wii, and Crypto said it's like, hello, Wii! I'm not sure if you remember that.
Yeah. You could say, Markle, you were a wee.
Wii.
I was.
I'm tired. So
No, I wasn't
yeah,
French though.
Oh yeah, so my first experience with video games was when I was a Wii kid, but not a Nintendo Wii kid. When I was like baby. My dad would play Stronghold while I was on his lap, and also Homeworld and Half-Life 1 and stuff. So technically those were my first exposure to video games.
Classic games, I see.
Yeah. I think my first actual one that I played though would be like Hot Wheels Flash games or something.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you been playing
I
with
do
Hot
count
Wheels in
those.
real life too?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have your collection still, or you sold it, or?
It's kind of got lost over the years.
I see.
I still have a few cars, but they're just a lot more expensive a lot of the time than Bionicle. So,
Yeah, because they're like made of metal and stuff.
yeah, they're actually die cast.
We would. We had a Hot Wheels game, and we would loop Guns N' Roses in the background, and we would record our computer monitor on VHS tape of us trying to get like the best Hot Wheels runs.
Nice.
Amazing. I like how you're not even like 20 years older than us. That's what you do.
Do you have that competition level in your mindset and in your life still?
No, not at all. I think it was just that like we didn't have like a lot of games, so
I see.
You play the ones you got a lot.
I see.
Like our first games was our uncle was living with us for like health reasons.
Oh, okay.
And he had an old NES, the original one.
I see.
So we grew up like failing to get through the original Legend of Zelda during like, and we missed like the whole era from like that to like late PS2. So I've always felt kind of like weird of like, oh yeah, all my memories are like from old 80s games because of what he had, and then jumping right into like PS2 games.
Kind of me too, because we only had like a pretty slow computer up until we got a PlayStation 2, like pretty much right when the PlayStation 3 launched, which is
Nice.
funny. But it was the superior console overall because it had way better games. I still remember like Christmas morning coming in and it was plugged into the TV, and then my brother had already loaded up like Lego Star Wars Complete Saga,
Nice.
and I was like, "Yo!" And then he was like, "Hey, you can join."
The
And I'm
couch
like,
cope era of games. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
"It was amazing."
Nice. Yeah. Okay, so we were talking about your childhood memories. How do you think like childhood memories influence your game, like Bionicle Mask of Powers?
Oh,
Mhm.
like 100%.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, pretty much. I mean, um, well, it definitely started off as like something that I always wanted to do because
Okay.
like I was always because always into Bionicle since the beginning of my life,
I see.
and so
Do you have all of the
I w-
sets in your collection, by the way?
not all of them, but I mean you can see like a lot of them
Oh,
over there.
nice, very nice.
Uh, and there's even more right there as well.
I see.
But
Keeping that Alpha Team set.
oh yeah, I got like most of the Ice Wave Alpha down there.
Mm.
But yeah, so it kind of started off as just this thing where I played all like the Bionicle video games that were out at like when Bionicle started, and then I was like, they never really did make a very good Bionicle game.
Exactly. All
Nothing,
those flash
not
games on the
yeah,
internet, on the web pages of Miniclip and all those
Mhm.
websites.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 Like nothing that I thought fit well, because
I see.
they had Bionicle Heroes and that was pretty good, and like they made Minogue and that was obviously fantastic and one of my favorite games of all time. And but that was pretty short. And it's like,
What do you think that could be the reason that they never really did any good Bionicle game?
uh,
Development, because there were a few
yeah,
canceled games
Okay.
like
development cost.
Legend of
Yeah.
Madanui.
Okay.
There was going to be one in 2001, and
Do
then
you
that
think
got
that those
canceled.
games haven't been supported financially?
I
Yeah,
mean,
I think it's that especially early on, Lego was trying to get them out like every year,
I
get the
see.
waves out and update the story and stuff. And they never left any time for the developers to actually make it because it's a multi-year
I
process,
see.
even the fastest game development. Um, and I think most of the ones that were canceled were just because they
yeah.
had to pull out the rug out from under them because like they can't keep giving them money and like keep making this game for this now outdated part of the story,
I see. I see. So I guess they couldn't keep up the pressure with all those new stories to just focus on the right story and bring a game to the players. I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, Bionicle was really ambitious in trying to do a lot of different media because you had the comics, you had the movies, and the games were just kind of not Bionicle's strong suit.
I see.
I'd say
The Flash games though.
Flash games are pretty good.
Yeah, Flash games are pretty
Yeah.
good. Like there were a lot of Flash games. I cannot remember the names of it, but I remember playing those, and they were pretty good. Like they were simple but enjoyable for me as a
Yeah.
kid, So
I mean, Minogue, Matinee Online Game, literally showed, I don't know if the world cared, but they showed the world that Flash can be used as an art form and not
true.
just like a system just to make trashy videos on,
Yeah.
I don't know. But
It's
yeah.
funny that I think the Bionicle games that are best remembered were the free ones that were basically ads on the website, and the stuff they wanted you to
Yeah.
buy was rushed through and like incomplete.
More love were put in those games than in the actual AAA or
Yeah.
smaller games. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because comparing stuff like the Matsunui Online game to like Bionicle the game, it's night and day in terms of just like care for the source material and just
But
what was
also,
put into it.
but also because Minogue, they got to create a lot of the lore that was there. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that does have some bearing on it because the development team was probably like, oh, we can do whatever, pretty much,
Yeah.
as long as
It'd
we
be more
don't,
creative.
there's more passion behind it because they get to be more creative about it. And
True. It's
Bionicle
very
game is
hard to
kind of already
create a lore
set.
to be fit
Well, yeah, but it's
for the
also fun.
players and for the stories that has been already told.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's continue. Sorry, we were ending up a little bit to the other topic. What's your childhood memories, and how do you think it influenced the game or making the game? Sorry.
I'm trying to me okay.
Yeah. Well, I'm asking
I
all of
don't
you,
know,
so it's
yeah.
always all of you.
As as someone who's doing writing stuff, it's more just like
Okay.
trying to think of like because that's been kind of my biggest thing that I've contributed. So I don't know. I'm not sure if it's. I don't know. I'm trying to think of like if there's any like specific games that I'm trying to like that influence how I like write stuff. I don't know. I think just consuming media in general. I don't know.
I see.
It's hard to think like specific inspirations, to be honest.
I see. And how did you get into writing stories?
I was just kind of been like, I don't know, I'm interested in doing creative stuff.
Okay.
And so early on in Masks of Power,
Forced you into it.
yeah, no, yeah, because it was like years ago, back when the game was still, we had an older legacy version, and back when that was still being developed, I sort of joined the teams like, hey, I kind of want to do writing stuff, and got put on writing. And
Oh, you were playing around in the RP server.
Oh, that.
and like we were just having a good time making up Bionicle stories. And then I was like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you write pretty good. You want to join the team?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then there you are.
And but yeah, so that's how I started, and then just over the years, I've just kind of been able to do more for the game and just have fun with it. Honestly,
is it your first very big story that you're writing for a game, or?
I mean, yeah, I had before I don't have a ton of experience.
Okay.
Yeah, like writing for other games, but working with Masks of Power has given me, and working with like Legacy and Trials of the Great Spear and other versions of the game over the years.
I see.
That's given me a lot of like good experience, I guess. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really enjoyed working with the team.
I see.
I mean, you almost did like a full rewrite of Legacy in what, like 2 weeks or something?
I did do that. I rewrote. For those of you who are unaware, there's the version of Masks of Power, which is the big one. But then we also have an older. Yeah, it's a big one on Steam. But then there's also an older version called Masks of Power Legacy, which is sort of the original iteration of the project that Joe Cool made.
Yeah, it's what I started on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's 90% Joe Cool, and then 10% everybody else. I'm in that 10%. But I did a lot of writing for that with the major quests and story elements, and I ended up having to rewrite a good chunk of it like 2 or 3 weeks before the game released.
Yeah, we had to push it back like a couple of weeks.
Was it frustrating to rewrite the story?
I don't know. No, I had fun with it though, because I remember what we had been doing with Legacy was like just kind of trying to be like the standard Bionicle story.
I see.
And then I remember Joe Cool, you came to me and were like, I have this cool idea to like make it stand out from the full game, to have it kind of be its own separate thing.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I like that. And so I implemented. It wasn't a ton of rewriting. It was more just like adding little nods to
I see.
a
So like correcting,
Something's
more of a correcting phase.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
but the
fun.
idea needed more to support it than just what I had done on my own.
I see.
So I was like, we kind of need to readjust things. But yeah.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot about
And
Legacy though.
I
Were
think the
there
video
times when the three of you did not have an agreement on the story? Like some of you were saying, okay, it's
Story?
good. Some of you were saying, okay, maybe we should change something.
Well, as far as legacy, I don't think I've never actually tried to pronounce your name.
Okay.
Lassie.
yeah.
Lucy.
It
Sorry.
Mhm.
Yeah, you weren't there during Legacy final days, were you? You were working on
No,
2.0, if anything.
yeah. I saw a video about Legacy, and they praised the twist at the end, and
Oh yeah.
that made me like excited of like, oh, these are people that like Bionicle, but they also want to do fun new stuff with it.
I see.
They don't just want to like relive what already exists, which I think is important because it's it's a toy series, it's a Lego.
Yeah, true.
I think the story is in some way like Lego, where you can play with it.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
always
it's way
exciting.
different to experience something in the game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And it is structured like old. It's supposed to be evocative of like old myths, and those a lot of times get retold and they get changed a little bit.
I see.
So it's like I feel like it's all in line with what Bionicle's supposed to be, to tell it differently each time.
I see.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and for the full game, we have some fun ideas for the full game beyond Legacy, for fun stuff to include. I can't spoil too much here, but you'll find some fun stuff.
Okay.
Let's say
that's
that.
Okay.
I don't think we've had a lot of frictions about the story, as far as I'm aware.
If
Um,
there was friction, it was mostly about like the overall sort of like tone
Yeah.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
like
the
Hard to
tone.
what
figure
shouldn't,
out.
yeah, what should and shouldn't be said and stuff.
I
So
remember
it's-
I wrote a quest that was like a little bit too dark, and that sort of prompted a discussion with like, okay, how much death do we want in Bionicle?
I see.
And
Oh, yeah. I think I was doing a little decorating, and I was like, oh, we should have like a body over here. And Kaylee was like, no, there are no dead bodies. Like, oh.
But why? But why?
it's all about the tone. It's
yeah, just
it's
tone,
the
because
very
You wanted
specific
Lego.
a more
balance.
happy tone for the game, or more balanced
more
tone.
just to keep in line with like the original like tone of Bionicle without dipping, because it's very tempting to like.
Yeah,
dip
but I mean,
into,
there
like,
are
oh,
sad
darker.
moments too in the stories. Like,
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely.
yeah,
But like to keep a good balance of that, because I feel like it's very easy to go like
very dark.
too far
I
in that
mean,
direction.
I see. Yeah.
You can argue that Bionicle did that a little bit in
I
later
see.
years.
I got
Yeah.
your point. Yeah,
So it's all about maintaining a good balance.
I see. Okay.
But yeah,
I think this instance, it was almost like I wanted to do like a field of corpses, which maybe was
yeah.
overkill, because I was
I
like,
see.
oh, we should decorate this little area. And I was like, oh, it's too much. I was like, oh,
I
okay,
see.
yeah.
I think you can still find like scattered parts in like some areas to imply, oh, something
Bad
here.
happened there. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more of a
Mystery.
like a creepypasta kind of discovery of like,
See.
oh, I'm wandering around the level. Oh no, why is there like
It's
a
like
hand sticking out of the dirt
environmental
here?
storytelling, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. More
and
subtle.
less in your face of like
Yeah.
a bunch of people died. Like
I see. Okay.
that's one thing I can think of.
But what about yours, childhood? Like, we weren't talking about it. Childhood experience.
Oh. You're up, Lucy.
Oh, me. Oh,
Yeah.
So, I like hold like I don't know, like the PS2 era is like the golden standard
Okay.
of what like games should be, just because during that time the industry was like so wide, it could support so many like
Yeah.
studios and put out so much like software,
Yeah.
that like the library of that era of consoles was so like wide and deep if
Yeah.
you know, and then also as a child, you don't know what's possible, but it felt like anything was possible.
Yeah, true,
And you like
true. And
go into a
they
store
were
and like,
brave enough. So most developers, in my opinion, were brave enough to experiment with everything. Like they
yeah,
weren't
it
scared.
was
And nowadays, I think that a lot of developers are scared, and they are just going to, most of them. Of course, indie and smaller devs are not, but these AAA companies are being forced, to push all those sequels, remakes, and which is in
yeah,
my opinion not bad. But yeah, that's why PS2 and PS1 era had those.
it's
Bigger library
it's
of
definitely
games.
it's definitely a combination of like how much money you have to bet
Yeah,
on a project was way lower back then.
yeah, true,
On
true,
as far
true.
as like your art resources is like a big one.
Yeah,
And also, you couldn't patch out the game. There were no online patches, so you had to be
yeah. Also,
ready on the launch, and you had to
yeah,
make your game polished for the release day.
yeah. Maybe something's bad about your game, and when it launches, it's bad, and then it just flops, and you
Yeah.
can't fix it.
yeah.
But
But it is also just different time sinks in general, or different sinks, because like the whole budget thing, obviously, but like you're saying, the art thing. I think back in PS2 era, um, there was like just about the right level of art to where stuff looked pretty good, but you didn't spend a whole lot of time on the art aspect of stuff.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
you could take bigger risks with the games that you made
Yeah, the story,
and
the
try different
gameplay,
things.
yeah, the
Yeah.
length of the games. Yeah, exactly.
But nowadays, every single game that you make is gonna take like 7 years because you got to put in a lot of work on the art to make it stand up to what is used to nowadays,
Yeah.
because otherwise
um,
it won't stand out. Nobody will find it.
yeah, and there was like a lot of disappointment in like the initial shift from like the PS2 stuff to like the 360 era
I
of
see.
like, oh, this game has like less stuff in it because they
Mhm.
like less trivial stuff. I think like it was all they became a lot more focused, and
Yeah, but also
with
they lost
BMOP
a
or
lot of fun.
yeah
They lost a lot of
yeah
soul.
yeah, I think that's what I think that's what I'm trying to say is like they became more dedicated to like the core idea, and it became less of every game was like had fun in it of like, oh, I can find dumb things like banana weapons or something like that.
Yeah, like in
And
Saints Row games.
There's no
yeah,
more big head mode.
yeah,
Yeah,
there's no more
true.
big head mode. Yeah, the whimsy
That's
died,
the point.
and Bionicle I feel is kind of situated across that time span. So like with BMOP, we're targeting a lot of like 360 sort of era graphical fidelity, but trying to maintain that spirit of like of it's a world you can mess around with, and that is a game.
You
And
got
kind
that
of like
whimsy.
trying to like create a gap between those memories that are kind of fuzzy in your head where they bleed together, and
I
trying
see.
to make that sort of like a real thing.
I see. And was Bionicle your first game? It also goes to all of you. This question, like very first game that you are making.
This is my
It is for me.
Okay.
hold on.
I mean, yeah, I started this when I was like 12, and my
Oh,
brother was always into game development, and he was like, "I need to make a game," and I was like, "You know what? Okay, but if we do it, it's got to be a Bionicle game," and then here we are today.
I see. And were your families supportive and friends about it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean,
hmm
my brother was the one that helped me start learning how to do it, um, and uh, my dad constantly like shills it all the time.
Nice.
Anytime there's an opportunity, he's like, "Hey, this is a famous Bionicle guy, Joe Cool. He's making this cool game," and I'm like,
Nice. That's nice.
"Thanks, Dad."
That's very nice to hear.
Yeah,
My son was on Moist Critical
I see.
yeah, I was technically.
technically. I guess we all were technically.
True,
Mhm.
to some extent, in spirit.
And do you feel like if you did not get any support or smaller support, it would be very harder to make the game or to start the game? How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
If you think back in the
A
past.
big, like, since this is a fan-made game and this is like a purely, we're all volunteers who are working on this together.
I see.
Just the fan support is a big reason for us to like. It's a big motivator. It's something that we can look at and be like. It helps combat burnout. It helps to be like, oh, people are looking forward to this. We gotta do it for the fans, type of
Do
thing.
a good job, yeah.
Yeah.
Were there times that where some of you like wanted to take a break from the developing process?
Yeah, and many have off and on.
Okay.
So,
And
so
how was your life back then? Like, what were your feelings about it? Like, did you miss making the game at those times, or those days, weeks, or months?
sometimes, because there's been a few different reasons for people to take breaks, definitely, because
I see.
obviously life stuff comes first. So there's like, you know, tragedy occurs
I
like
see.
a lot recently.
I'm sorry
So
for your loss. Sorry.
yeah, not me specifically. I mean, a little bit
for
me,
people on the
but
team.
just for everybody on the team.
I see.
And but so obviously I'm sure they're not having a good time. But then obviously other reasons to take breaks would be like, do school or university or
Yeah, sure.
like you get events and stuff. So it's because we're volunteers, it's kind of like all over the place in when we actually work on it. So it's pretty consistent that somebody will open the project once a day. So it's like it's pretty consistent work, but it's never consistent who that person is.
I see.
So yeah.
And just burnout in general is something that we've been trying to combat as we've been working on some of the more technical elements that aren't as fun necessarily, of just like details and bug fixes and
Recently
stuff
it's
like
just
that.
been a bunch of little knob tweaks, and it's like, what is causing this thing to break?
I see.
Is it this knob tweak or is it this knob tweak?
It's whenever I realize there's like data in a class and I don't want to cast to it, and I gotta like sit there and think how to get the data. Like one number, like I need one number out of this thing, and I don't want to cast to the whole thing, and just like sitting there,
Load the whole thing into RAM.
Yeah, I'm just like sitting there like, this is so much brain power. I need one number. I need the game to know one number from another part of the game, and it's driving me crazy.
Was it hard to get back after these short breaks, or was it weird to get back?
I guess it kind of like depends on like what's going on. If it's burnout related, a lot of times what will happen is I noticed this happen a lot is people will get like burnt out from a lot of the technical stuff.
I see.
And then somebody will start working on something cool and fun and interesting, and that will make people be like, "Ooh, that looks cool. I want to do
Get
that."
involved again in the process. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they'll jump back into it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I have to finish all this boring technical stuff."
You can never forget about it.
Yeah.
Won't work that way.
But it gives them that spark. It's like,
Yeah.
it ignites it back in them. That's like the whimsy we were talking about,
I see.
is finding that fun stuff to just
Keep going.
put in there in between getting like the foots to fall correctly on the floor.
I see. Okay, and you were talking about like it's a fan-made game, but for me it's very interesting to know that how does the process of making a fan-made game works? Like, how do you get in touch with the official team of Bionicle, or do you have to get to them to make a licensed game, or how does it work? Like,
Lego is surprisingly really nice with allowing fan-made content.
Okay.
We got the rules are more or less, if as long as you are one, clear that it is a fan-made project and not an official one, and two, don't make any money off of it, then you're more or less fine.
I see.
Yeah,
So
because
we consulted with people who like know their rules, and that's why we're allowed to put our game. We're safe.
Yeah.
We feel safe putting our game on Steam.
Yeah, because I mean, Lego's whole like brand image is based on creativity, and um, honestly, they'd kind of be screwing over their brand if they like tried to get rid of somebody, especially like a project as big as ours. If they tried to like uh C&D, that's it, right? That's the word. um, if they tried to do that to us, then it's like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
brand image
I feel like
damage.
it also helps. It also helps that Bionicle is something that's been discontinued for a long
Yeah,
time.
they're not
If-
using it right now, so it's like
Yeah.
So
If we were making
they
like
don't
a
care
big,
who are using the rights to make something out of it, I guess we could say.
essentially,
I
yeah,
see.
that's
as long
definitely
as
a
it's
big part of it.
a
Do you
fan
think
project.
like when after releasing your game, then Lego might come back and say, okay, they should be the main team who is handling the official games in the years? Or
I mean,
are
We've
that'd
you
be
thought
hoping
about
for
cool.
it.
that? I
We've
mean,
thought
Kind of
about
neat.
it.
it would be very
Definitely
good
be
in my
cool.
opinion. Like it would be a
Yeah.
dream come true to you guys.
Yeah, it's like a fun daydream to think about that.
I see.
But
Do you
There,
think like Lego can
How realistic?
go back to Bionicle at some point of the future? Do you think they care? They still care about the Bionicle team?
Maybe in like another 10 years
I see.
after like the 2015 one. So
I
I guess
yeah,
I don't know.
they did a
I
reboot.
think there are rumors of something in 2025 is
Yeah,
like the
there were
thing that
some
like
leaks as well because if I
Yeah.
remember
yeah.
correctly, last year there was a present that you can get if you were buying.
Give me 1 second. I'll go
more-
get it.
Okay, yeah.
On that note, I want to just
Sorry for
also
interrupting
shout.
you, by the way.
Oh, I guess Joe also has it.
Oh, nice.
I also wanted to.
I haven't.
Hey, look at that.
I will be honest with you guys. I haven't opened mine, so it's still in the box. It's still in the box.
Oh,
Yeah,
Look at that.
He's riding on that.
nice.
where's Takua? Where is he?
He's right here.
Yay!
Nice,
Wait, let's stick him on.
Takua.
Get on there.
nice.
Eh. There he is.
But essentially,
But but no. I
Wait.
I think they're
Does-
kind of aware that like Bionicle has a big active fan base,
Yeah,
and
they can't ignore that. I mean,
Because they do keep hiding the Easter eggs in all the in a lot of the recent
some which are
sets.
suspiciously close to screenshots of our game.
Yes, that's like as far as like official Lego acknowledgement beyond like allowing the project to exist. I'm
That's
very
like all we're gonna
conspiracy
get.
brained about certain references they have that are like
it's a
like
Liwa
is
in the
this
video
is this
game.
us? Yeah, it's like yeah that video game's
it's like a
I think it's
message to
arcade.
us. Are you trying
Yeah,
to
it's like an
say something?
It's like an arcade set, right?
I see,
There's like
I
a
see.
tile.
Lego Friends, probably.
I forget which one, but it has the hero's UI around an image of like Lewa, and
Okay.
he isn't in that game, but he's in our game, and it's and it kind of gets us like, is that like an acknowledgement,
Maybe.
like cool job to like from the designers on the team?
And there's one more recently with Tahu's like sword being ignited, I think, and that was like kind of
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think when Oni put that in the trailer, that was also like a reference though to like some other things, but
maybe, yeah, but
maybe.
still, like
It's fun to imagine that that's what that is.
But yeah,
uh
that's
in reality though, if we were to actually get like picked up by Lego, then it's likely they wouldn't want to. Uh, but if they did, then we would probably have to strip a lot of the stuff out of it because Lego doesn't like fighting, like combat.
I feel like they're
because
more okay with it nowadays.
they might be more okay with
Yeah,
it
there's
now.
like
Yeah,
Lego
We got
Fortnite
Ninjago.
too, and they are okay with that. In my
that's
opinion.
true. That's
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So they've definitely opened up to it, but definitely like back in the day when Bionicle was a thing, there was like always no like
No fighting.
contact on contact like fighting.
Yeah, but
because
Word has
it's gonna
changed a lot
inspire
since
kids to
then, and
fight.
gaming too, and Lego too, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Like nowadays,
Look at-
fighting is not that much against being like not be able to
Yeah.
show
So-
for the kids, in my opinion, or for
I feel like I
families.
hear a lot of Ninjago fans off in the distance.
Yeah,
Like,
they've
what are you
definitely
talking about?
they've definitely loosened up since 2001. They're
Yeah.
more okay with like their characters fighting. But I feel like if by like some dream chance we were to like get Lego whatever to reach out to us, it would also mean that there'd be a lot more guidelines on what we could create. So some of the elements that are like a little bit darker may need to get cut, or there may be stricter rules about.
Or we might have a deadline.
That's another thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that it would be way harder for you like to work for them if they had all these strict rules?
Yeah, we don't, and we don't really know what
yeah.
exactly their rules would be.
I
So
see.
I'm not really sure.
I don't know if it would be harder. It might just it. I mean, it might be, but it might just be more like a job, less like
Fun?
having a good time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Less of a creative outlet for people.
Yeah, it's always
Which, I
true
mean,
in my
if it-
opinion for all developers, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they were getting paid, then I mean,
Yeah, you
game
have
would
to
get done
find a
faster, I
balance
guess,
between fun and making and having money and be paid for
Yeah.
it, I guess. What
Yeah.
you are good at it and what your passion is. Yeah, it's always a balance.
Like
balance.
Realistically, though,
balances.
I don't feel like that would happen.
Okay.
probably not. But my current balance is no money, all fun.
But hey, you're having fun at least, so.
Yeah.
And to be honest, if you look back
Yeah.
in history, all big people who made forms of art, they were poor or did not have enough money to, enjoy life. But they still had fun and they did a lot of
Had
great
fun.
stuff that we are remembering now. So I guess you gotta love
In
your
100
process
years, they're gonna
and you have to trust in the process. That a good friend told me once before in Dev Life 1 that you have to really, as a developer, you have to trust the process and believe in yourself and believe in your passions. Yeah, be strict to
The
it.
process is weird.
I
So
mean,
it's
yeah,
really
but
weird.
we all do get weird in some way, no? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So my question would be, how did you three of you find each other, and how is it hard to find team members who has or who have the same passion as some of you? Like, how hard is it nowadays to find developers, team members who will say, okay, I'm totally with you, 100% with you? How hard is it nowadays?
I know that I found BMOP just kind of from word of mouth. Early on, there were some larger Bionicle YouTubers who made videos highlighting Masks of Power. So I kind of heard of it through there, and I sort of joined their Discord server out of curiosity. And then I sort of got looped into working on the game, and that's how I met Joe Cool and Lucy and everybody else.
Okay.
I feel like it's both gotten easier and harder to find developers nowadays, because I mean, obviously nowadays with everything that's going on and nobody can work and the economy is in collapse, etc. It's obviously a lot harder to find developers because everybody's looking for jobs.
I see.
But it is also a lot easier to find people because we're a lot more visible and there's a lot more people who actually know about us. And I have, like, surprisingly, at least 2 stories that have reached me about random people out in the wild just saying, hey, I know about your game. And then one that happened to me personally as well. So, yeah, kind of insane to think about, but
Yeah. It's a very good feeling, I guess. So
yeah,
it motivates you through the day and through your life.
yeah. But
I think-
yeah, we've noticed especially that like we're saying, code people don't really stick around as long as some other people, because code people have to like, you know, do the more nitpicky, little tweaky, annoying things.
I see.
Whereas like the art people get to have fun doing like making a cool bit of art or music or whatever.
Yeah.
But code people usually like join and it's like, oh yeah, I'll help you on that, and then it's like, yeah, but now I have
A
my
month
job.
or two later. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
because
cannot depend on them
code people,
for forever, I guess. We could say.
yeah, and code people are way more in demand as well nowadays, and they have very consistent uh jobs if they have jobs.
I see.
So it's like, yeah,
Yeah. It's
it's a big
but yeah,
sort of trade-off of
finding people is like we have finding the right people, finding the people who are, will be able to make this game as good as it can be, who can make the game good. It's tricky sometimes, especially with this being a fan-based project.
And were there times where you felt like someone is not the right person, but you hired him or her?
I mean, we've had a few. We have had a few devs who have
Yeah. Me.
who've left.
No, not you.
Oh,
I'm
you're good.
a troublemaker.
Maybe.
But
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a few actual troublemakers, and a few people who maybe just didn't have the skills they said they did, and then it's like not very many. Most people
I see.
we've managed to vet pretty well through, because we use a forum now and that helps. And we also have our lead developers who sort of run through the forum when we need people and sort of look at the different things
I see.
that they've submitted, and it's like, oh, do they have experience in this? And so it's we've got to a point where it's we usually bring in pretty good people, and whether or not they stay is like kind of
Their choice, I
up
guess.
in the air.
their choice pretty much.
I
Yeah,
see. I see. Okay.
how much they contribute.
I see. And by designing the characters and the story, how did you decided in which era would you like to use of Bionicle themes?
It was always the first year.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much. Because 2001 through 2003 is like the golden era of Bionicle
Okay.
on the Matanui, and I always found that era the most sort of like interesting to me. Not interesting, but like
Rich by stories, you would say?
yeah, I suppose there's like more to explore in
I
that,
see.
in
More
those
to say to people, I
time.
guess.
Yeah, because in the
players,
later
sorry.
years, because like in the later years, there's like so much story that's already piled up on top of it, and so
see.
much context that it's like we could go and like explore some of the bits, but like you'd have to take into account the rest of the entire context of the Bionicle lore and story.
I see.
And so it's like, yeah, 2001 is a fresh start.
Yeah.
There's a specific mystique to it than compared to the rest of it, because we don't know what's happening. Why are these biomechanical creatures coming out of pods on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? So
There's a lot more.
yeah,
There's a lot of
there's a lot
mystery.
more mystery and stuff. Yeah.
Were you aiming
It's also-
with this story? Sorry for interrupting you. Go for it. Go for it.
It's also another reason that I think the first year works so well for like the format of a video game is because the media, at least compared to like later years, like Metro Nui or stories like that, it's not as structured, because like later years you have a lot more books and movies and stuff that like strictly outline, okay, this is the events in the story, this is what happens, versus the first year it's more open. It's like you have the world, you have the Toa, they go and they find masks at some point,
Yeah.
and then
I mean,
And you could
The-
be, or you could be more creative because of that, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
lot of
and
free-
I mean, even just the concept of collecting the masks is a very video gamey concept. It's literally a collectathon,
Yeah.
and in the books they just kind of vaguely went, Kapaka finds this one, and then Anua finds this one, and then they do this, and then they actually do the final mission. And it's
Also,
like,
Mhm.
the masks are also like a fun reward to find them.
Yeah.
I see.
Like, because like Metro Nui is also a collectathon, but the discs aren't like fun.
Yeah.
they're
they're just
fun,
di-
but they're not like
As immediately
like,
useful.
interesting or useful,
Yeah.
because all the discs, they just have like a different graphic on them, but
Yeah.
all the masks look different and they do different things, whereas the discs, you have to shoot them
Yeah.
or you have to like combine them. It's like,
Also, like with the O1 story though, we can't, because like all the Metro stuff is like prequel content. We can like allude to a lot of that stuff that they couldn't really
Mhm.
in original O1
Yeah.
content, because like they hadn't figured it out for themselves yet what it was.
Yeah.
But now we know, so we can kind of layer that in a little bit on top of the mystery for fans.
and we
want
can
that
also allude
illusions.
we could also allude to later years as well, because
Yeah.
going into this with the context that people have already experienced the entire story. So going back to that and like saying, okay, what do they know? What can we like think about uh, in terms of this that they couldn't talk about back then because they hadn't figured that out yet? You know,
Have we
A big
shown
one.
the big thing publicly?
We had you mean the big thing in the sky?
I don't know where it is. I want to allude to where it is.
We've shown
But-
the moon.
Okay, yeah, the moon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big thing. If you're a
I was
Bionicle
speaking-
fan,
Mysteries everywhere, I guess.
I was just saying, like, literally, it's literally big.
the big thing, yeah.
Big
it's
thing.
it's the big thing.
There's a big moon in the sky that you'll see, and it's a very fun. It's a reference to something later in the years.
I see.
Yeah, because it's actually not a moon.
That's no moon. You're on the moon, technically.
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yeah. That's details.
And when you were designing the game, what was the aim? Did you want it to bring mysteries in the game, where like we were talking about earlier, like people have to figure out the story by looking for some stuff, not just by brackets of sentences and story parts, but by the environment.
I mean, yeah, we definitely want to make the environments and like the dialogue and the characters. We definitely are trying to push all of that, mesh it all together to make something that's satisfying, a good experience.
I feel like Bionicle just has like, and the writing team has been able to tap into the Bionicle just has like, especially the O1 stuff, just has a certain charm to it, with like the Matoran are such cute little guys, being able to like talk to them.
I see.
Because like I focus a lot on like building out art, so I'm not like playing the game a lot. But I'll boot it up and I'll run to talk to the first guy, and I'll just be like, oh, it's so fun to talk to these little guys.
So I guess
and
these sequences are not like mission based, but more of a fun based and story experience based, right?
We do have missions.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
All of
I don't
them
know
are
how much-
mission based, or there are some exploring as well, like when you are talking to
Yeah.
NPCs and
There are.
getting some information about the story.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
Yeah, there are.
I believe we cite Ocarina of Time, correct?
Yeah, that we
That's
said
the one
that
we
as sort
usually
of like a idea
point
for
to.
structure and something like that. There's definitely a lot to explore.
Yeah, like the earlier like open world Zelda games where it's like the hub and then it connects to like the other sections, and you go back to the hub and then go to the other sections, like stuff like that. And the NPCs. I mean, I don't know how the NPCs work in Ocarina of Time. I gotta admit I haven't played it, but yeah, you can just talk to them at any point pretty much, and they'll say a different thing based on what's happening.
I
So
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I try to have fun with the characters that I write.
I see. And what was the playtime that you're aiming for? Like, how long? You're
For the
giving-
full game,
Yep.
We
Yeah,
don't have that.
no, we don't know because I mean it doesn't really matter honestly.
Okay.
At least to me specifically, because as long as I mean I spent like 4 hours in the demo bug testing it, but I mean granted I was bug testing it and I was writing everything down every couple of seconds. But I mean even just that for the demo is I think an average playtime. I mean
yeah. For a
Legacy's
demo.
yeah, Legacy's full um full playtime ended up being like 7 or 8 hours on like a new run without knowing where everything is.
Okay.
So it's it's quite sizable.
It's a
Even
sizable demo that we're
that,
working on.
yeah, it's a sizable demo. It's almost as long as Legacy,
So do you
depending on
think like the
how you
full
play
game
it.
will
So
be having a playtime of like 20, 30 hours, or even more?
hopefully,
Maybe. We
yeah,
can't really.
something like that.
Yeah, we can't really give that estimate.
But
right
that's good in
now.
my opinion. Like for a game.
Yeah.
We're gonna put
Mhm.
everything in Pawahi, very far away.
So you have to
So-
walk.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I see. Okay. And as in the designing process, have you been thinking of like co-op or multiplayer parts or segments of the game, or just fixed story or strict story-based, one-player-based game?
It'd be neat. I don't. We can't really give any type of official confirmation about that yet,
Okay.
but we've
Yeah,
thought about it.
I'll say that we're leaving the possibility open, but obviously multiplayer is um a very difficult thing to program for.
I see.
Luckily, it's a little easier when it's like a casual thing and not like a competitive game.
Yeah.
Competitive games, like you have to make sure down to like the millisecond is
Everything is
perfectly
working
synced on
fine.
everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but luckily it's a little easier for casual games in this case. But yeah, we're leaving it open to the possibility. Whether it will or won't is like just depends on like time and
Yeah.
if we can manage it.
I see. And what about the retail versions? Are you planning like to have a retail version of the game, or just a
No.
digital?
We
version?
can't. We can't. Because this is a fan-made free thing.
I see.
We can only release it online.
I see.
We're lucky that we're able to go on Steam because the Lego group is nice. But anything beyond that, we can't do a console release. We can't
Oh, you cannot. I see. I see.
do.
we should
Anything
burn
paid.
some mini discs though. That'd be sick.
Yeah,
I would be
Just have,
happy
like,
if
a
there
li-
would be like physical discs, like
burn
or
some
something.
discs and then like
That would be
sell
cool.
Give them away. Give them
The
away
back
at
alleys.
Lego.
I'm a
no,
collector,
Lego-
so I love physical stuff. So yeah,
Mhm.
I see. I see. Okay. And okay. Were you thinking of like the release date of the game, or is still far away?
For the demo, we're working on right now the Free the Band demo, which is set to release in late 2024. That's the window that we've got.
Okay.
Anything
Hopefully,
beyond that,
assuming no more tragedies occur.
yeah, assuming nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
But that's the only anything beyond that we can't really
I
say
see.
right now. But expect the demo later this year.
I see. Okay. And what is your favorite Lego from Bionicle theme? Like, what is your favorite figure, if you could say so? I brought mine, so I will show it. I was.
Ooh,
Yes, let's
Golly,
go.
the blue one.
Golly was my
And-
first
and,
Bionicle.
okay, I still have. I have a lot of figures, but yeah.
Those are
Nice.
cool.
Sick.
And I will show something to you.
My aunt had no idea.
VHS.
Ooh,
Oh,
Nice.
That's very awesome.
VHS.
Oh,
Nice.
I was watching
Just-
this when I was a kid.
it's different.
Yeah, it's a European version. It's a Hungarian, actually. It was
Oh.
voiceover for Hungarians.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like I heard something about the Hungarian version. A trivia fact, but I don't recall it.
Okay. What was it?
I think it might have
Oh,
been
you
the
don't
German
remember it?
one of the versions where they had to change Makuda's eyes from red to green
Yeah,
That was
it
it.
was
That was
German
it.
because it's
But
red.
why?
Okay, it was Germany.
But why?
My bad.
because Germany had weird laws about like characters with red spooky eyes, and so they
Okay.
needed to change it to green eyes in the German version
That's weird.
because of weird laws about it. I
Okay.
remember hearing that.
That's
It's a fun little
interesting.
fact.
Yeah, that's fine.
That was the fun fact.
Um,
Okay, I
Mhm.
misremembered it completely.
For sure,
I'm glad Markle knew it.
For me, I think out of the 2001 sets, I mean, I don't really have a favorite. They're all awesome. Maybe Onua, maybe, or Poatu, but just all-time favorite set, or at least that I own, is gotta be Faison Fenrak or Matoro up there.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that, but
I can kind of
it's-
see it.
I can see the teeth.
you can see he's got the teeth.
I can see the teeth.
And you can see the
Bison's got the mask,
staff.
but Fenric's got the teeth.
uh,
I had that one as a kid. Bison and Fenric.
Sick.
That was awesome.
Have you lost
Yeah.
it or have you sold it?
I have it. All of my Bionicles sets are lying in boxes disassembled. I have a
Okay.
giant.
Pretty
bin
much,
full
I
of
have the
parts.
same experience. Yeah.
I've done a little bit of mocking of making my own stuff,
I see.
but not a ton. As far as favorite set, that's a tricky one. I don't know. It's like asking your favorite child, except Bionicles aren't my children. It's a little bit weird to say that. I don't know.
not for me.
I feel like to say something from the first year makes sense because I've been working on this game, but I
I see.
also have a lot of fond
And which
memories of other
specific
sets.
figure would be
Yeah,
your favorite?
I'm not sure. One set that I think I really like a lot is one that I was able to find it like in box for like a decent price. It was the Jet Tracks from 2008. It's a big like ship,
I
and
see.
it looks really cool. And I don't know, I really like that set. Just
What
for
was
how
your
it looks.
What was your first set besides the Lone McDonald's raid act?
My first ever Bionicle set. It was Thok. It was the Paraka Thok.
Right,
It's the
I
white
remember
Paraka.
that. Yeah,
Yo.
yeah.
Yeah.
Were there sets that you couldn't buy or be bought by your parents when you were a kid, but you wanted so bad?
One that I did buy as a kid, because I got into Bionicle when I was like 4 or 5 years old. I was a wee lad. But one of the sets that I bought, that I really wanted as a little kid, was the Paraka Stronghold. It was a giant, they had like brick-built play sets. And it was this huge one. It had all the Toa, all the Paraka. It was super big, and I was 4 years old, and I didn't know how to build it, so I made my mom build the whole thing, and she'll still
That's cute of
sometimes
her.
talk about it. And be like, I had to build that whole stupid thing. I hated it.
Oh, that's so funny.
but no, I have a special place in my heart for that set.
Yeah, Golly was my first. My aunt did not know what she was changing the course of my entire life, buying me that
Nice.
from the Toys R Us. My all-time
Did you tell
favorites.
that? Did you tell that to her?
I haven't seen her in a long time,
Oh, I see.
but it makes me feel guilty now. I gotta get in contact with her.
See? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You will have to call. Get a
Yes,
call
okay.
after our interview.
Okay.
We have to do that.
I'll do
For
it.
me.
Fingers crossed. My all-time favorites are the Borak. I love the Borak so much. I got so many Borak. The Baurag play function is so fun. The way they like snap at each other, and it kind of like stresses the pieces in a way that almost feels like illegal. Like the way the play function works. I think Mari Motoro is great from like if you like look at it as like a narrative
Perspective.
angle
Mhm.
of like the pieces they chose for him and like the colors he has. He has like a random red piece in his chest. You know, like it's like his heart. Like, you know, and he dies. And like I read into that a lot as like if possible that they were trying to like make that set cohesive with the narrative, even, you know, dubious as to whether that's the order of events that happened, but I think that's really cool.
see.
My Matoro has transparent blue limbs.
Mine too.
Ooh.
It's got his
Nice.
Anika
Yo.
limbs.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. The Makuta Biddle I think is really cool because he uses the Vahi head in a really unique way, where it's like turned around and his mask is stuck
Yeah.
on the back of his head, which I think is like I think that's like the coolest use of the Vahi head outside of the Vahi. That's my list of Bionicle faves. The Scorpio. I don't have a Scorpio, but that thing whips.
Oh, the big one.
Yeah, the big one. It's huge. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
What do you think made Bionicle so famous and so lovable for every one of us? What's the secret behind Bionicle? That people still remember it, and not just us, but the newcomers to LEGO as well are interested in Bionicle.
I think there was just a lot of care and love and just thought put into it.
I see.
People who originally made the theme. Christian Faber is someone who was one of the original creators of Bionicle, and he's still online. He's still more or less. He's still fairly active, just in like talking about Bionicle stuff and engaging with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the amount that people cared and put into Bionicle, it resonated with people. The mystery aspects grabbed people. People were interested in LEGO. Really did something different and unique with what Bionicle was doing, and that just struck a chord with people. I don't think it's a really unique in terms of tone and in terms of just what it was trying to do. So I don't think there's never been anything exactly like it that LEGO's done.
Yeah, and they will. Yeah. In my opinion, they will. they also were good with like showing the power of friendship and communities put together in all those stories.
Yeah. I think. I mean, definitely all that, but I think. There's also a couple other aspects that definitely make it last till today, is because definitely the multimedia part of it helps a lot for the longevity of stuff, because you know, it doesn't matter if it's a flash game, which I mean obviously you can't play those now, but
I mean, you can just like
you can, but you have to actually go and know what Bionicle is to go to the place to find them. But you know, whether it's games or movies or TV or sets or whatever, you have a lot more potential for exposure because you have a bunch more like not markets, but like, you know, avenues, player bases. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot more potential for that because of all the different variety and stuff, and the different variety in tone based on all the years. So, so definitely that is a big reason to why it still hooks people today. And also, I think, like Marco was kind of saying, it definitely hit a tone that was very unique and has rarely been done to this day. There are only a few other things that like capture a specific that specific sort of like setting, because there's, you know, the narrative basics of like man versus nature, and like man versus society and stuff. Bionicle was machine versus nature, and also man versus nature, and also man versus society. and also good against evil. So it's like
Everything put together in one piece.
kind of, yeah, but
And
it was
still worked.
it was very interesting in the way that I was accomplished, and I think just it still resonates somehow.
Yeah, the
Wow.
fact that the Bionicle
Yes.
community is as big as it is today and is as alive and is as active is a testament to just how unique that theme was
Yeah, true.
and how
Yeah.
special it was.
Yeah, something that kind of made me realize how unique Bionicle was, and that Bionicle was still like alive per se. Um, was in the last few years. Um, I went to Brick World in Chicago and met Markle.
Yes.
Right? uh,
You had a little booth where you were showing off
yeah,
the game to people.
a pre-demo there.
Nice.
Mhm.
And we were showing it off to people, and a lot of kids would come over and play the game, like a lot. And I was just sitting back there and going like, this is kind of insane, because none of these kids were born even probably after
The
the
reboot.
reboot. And I was like, none of these kids know what this is, but it's intriguing to them, and they know it's very interesting. And there was even like a kid that was across the way on the other side of the booth, and they kept coming over to play it. It's like, hey, can I play on it now?
Yeah, but
And
I have an explanation for
it's
that, or at least a thought about it. For me, I think that what most people or everyone in this world has is either having his childhood memories and being a child and being a kid by something, by creating art forms or games or anything, or losing it. And I think that nowadays kids, they still like want to be in that era that we had and can enjoy those things, like if we bring back to them, in my opinion at least. Because
I wanna-
like we were discussing it was fun, and kids love fun things, so in my opinion at least.
Building off of that, I feel this is appropriate to share. I get a lot of on our social media pages. We get a lot of like comments where it's like, "Oh hey, I like the game. Keep up the good work." One that I just got like a few days ago that I feel is appropriate to share. Someone messaged us and is like, "I'm beyond excited to finally share the Bionicle game we all wanted as kids with my son. Thanks for keeping the franchise alive." And so I feel like that's just, I don't know. I feel like it was appropriate with the whole the theme of keeping it alive.
Were you
just
reliving your
having it captured.
childhood by these memories or by these experiences that you're getting? Do you think that
Oh, yeah.
all of you will be like kids in 10 or 20 years still? In your heart, in your heart,
Yeah.
at least.
I think so.
Yeah.
But that's a very nice thing, in my opinion. Like making a game makes people, still be happy and still having fun and be a kid.
There was like a concerted effort in like Monog that you would like have the perspective of the children playing as the Matoran. And our game is visiting that island again, but as the Toa, who are like situated as the adults. So in a lot of ways, it feels like that to me. It's like coming back as an adult to visit your childhood.
I see.
And like being able to appreciate it in new ways that you weren't able to before. I think is important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah. Okay.
Just a lot to...
Is there anything that you would like to say or tell us?
No, just if you're interested in learning more about the game, you can visit our website, masksofpower.com, to find out more information. Visit all our social media links you can find on our website.
Nice.
And just learn more about the game and what we've been working on.
Okay. Should we
something...
do... Oh, sorry. Go for it.
That's something that somebody in the chat brings up is they say that the atmosphere of Bionicle was made it feel like it was important and it's something you couldn't ignore. That was actually something I was kind of going to mention was that, like you said, it brought that feeling of like community and the importance of friendship and stuff.
Yeah.
And I agree. It kind of Bionicle, to those who knew about it, kind of felt like a cultural event
Yeah.
because it was something that was constantly being updated and progressed, and the story kept going throughout years. And
You started to care
it
about the characters and their friendship
yeah,
too. Yeah.
yeah, and you started to like feel connected to the rest of the community and be like, oh, there's a, you know, oh, what, and talk about the different relationships and everything. It's like it was a very communal sort of uh
Mhm.
experience, which we have kind of continued and carried over into the Bionicle community today, which is still going. Surprisingly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so what I was wanting to say, if there is anyone who would like to ask a question that we haven't been covering, go for it. And if you have still a bit time, then hopefully we can have some answers. So in the chat on the stream, if anyone would like to ask the team,
Go for it.
go for it.
I have spotted a few other developers in the live chat as well.
Oh, nice.
who,
As
who
always.
tuned in.
And yeah, by the way, thanks for all the follows. Like I said before, during these dev live shows of mine, I'm always reading the comments at the end of the show. So sorry if I did not catch any question or follow, but thank you.
I did think I also saw Stats the Goblin, who did another interview with us a while back.
Oh,
So
nice.
good to see you here. But yeah, feel free to ask questions.
Somebody
scroll.
asked how much it will cost, and one of our devs immediately said free. So, good job. Answered.
Let me look, see if there's anything.
Will there be a skill tree in the game?
I think yeah.
More
No.
trees. There's so many
No,
trees already.
no, the trees. Um, not necessarily. It's not like your traditional skill tree.
I think
There's
it's more like
different.
a perk system. Is kind of how I describe it.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
understanding of what we have built right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. I'm talking about the gears.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So
And I think as far as I think there'll also be a background sort of level up system that will just like level up your like stats stuff.
yeah.
I'm not sure if that's the plan. I haven't looked at the doc.
Yeah. No, I think, but I think part of that is with the 12 masks we already have and then the 6 Toa, we already have like so many powers to distribute across the whole play space and like what the player has access to. That my understanding of it, like introducing like a whole bunch of extra abilities through like a progress system would maybe really muddy things with like how many different tools the player has.
I see.
Yeah.
From my understanding of like what we have currently, is
And what
it
was
is
the
sort of more
idea
like a
behind it
perk system.
when you were like making the game? How did you discuss how hard it should be, like for the players or newcomers who are not used to games, or even the hardcore gamers? Like,
I didn't do the difficulty balancing. I don't know who's in charge of that. I can't answer that question.
I think the general consensus is that, or at least back when he did the documentation, which was like 2 years ago or something now, was that it should be fairly challenging. Like obviously, you want your video game to be fairly challenging, but still let your newer players through it, But I think we're going for the slightly more casual end. I'm not entirely sure. Again,
Yeah,
So
because we were
there've been
talking
some-
about like being influenced by the PlayStation 2 era, and PlayStation 2 era had a lot way harder games than nowadays. That's why
Yeah.
it starts
Yeah.
fast.
Right, we're not aiming for like super difficult.
I see.
Yeah, we're not aiming for Dark Souls, you know. We're
Yeah. Yeah. And our gameplay is very character actiony.
Mhm.
So it doesn't lend itself as much to like the way Dark Souls is built is very built to be
to fail, I guess.
training the player of how to
Mhm.
play it, and like a character action game typically is a little more lenient, a little more giving to what the player is able to get away with.
Mhm.
I also think we talk about like the nostalgic aspect of Bionicle a lot, but like we also do want the game to be welcoming to new people who want to get into it because we want to share the Bionicle with people. Like just recently, I was working on some menu stuff and I was adding in features that would like help communicate things to new people who don't know what every single set is named.
I see.
So like we try to think a lot about like having a wider audience because it will be on Steam. It will be
And
like
can
available.
it be turned off and on, like those options?
It's not intrusive, but that's just like an obtuse example of like we want to be able to share the game with people and not just have it be for only the fans.
I see.
Yeah.
We want to
because
turn
there's
people into fans. We want people to become
Yeah.
fans
Nice.
through this. Like
Yeah, because there's a lot of people who have found this on Steam and stuff that are just people who are like, oh, I remember Bionicle. I'll play that when it comes out. So we don't want to have to rely on them knowing that Maturo died, you know. So it's like
what a Bardock is. Like
yeah. What's a Kahu? It's like, huh?
The difference between
So-
a Kreka, Krika, and a Kraka. There's a lot of weird
Prada.
Bionicle stuff.
like
or a
naming
Karzani, a
Pokemons.
Kazani, and a Karzani, you know.
Yeah.
forget
I
the
do see a
Karzanis.
question in the chat. Dumokin Arts. Will the game follow the 2001 story, or will it be an open story based on collecting the mask? Yes to both. We're going for more open. A lot of the bigger, more important story beats are definitely going to be there, but 2001 in particular lends itself well to being more open, being making your own stuff, making your own quests. So if much the same with the world and the characters, but we're gonna have a lot. You'll find there'll be a lot of new stuff in there to explore and experience and
Can
do.
you see your game as an ever updating experience in the future, like adding new stories to the game when it's full released?
I don't think so. The full release is going to be
The full release
years down the line.
Yeah,
So
full release is years out, but beyond that, we have briefly discussed like DLC of Borak and
don't say that they're that excited.
Borak Kal Rakshi, but you know, like 2002, 2003 stuff. But that is like if we're not all like completely done with this by the time that we get there, you know.
Yeah,
I see.
It's gonna
Or
take.
if we start getting paid by Lego, then maybe sure, whatever, we'll do that.
I see.
We'll make freaking new games for him if Lego pay me. But you know,
But we can't really say anything right now just because.
yeah, we're definitely no plans for that at the moment.
I see.
But we have thought about it. I'm just saying.
And will be this game that you are developing right now the first game that your child will experience? Like, do you want him or her to be experiencing his or her first game?
Maybe not first. Maybe start them off with like something else. But
I see.
I started off with Stronghold.
Do you think that it's important for parents who are gamers to have their kids experience the starting era of video games so they can appreciate those times and they can see the difference between eras of video games? What do you feel, or what do you think about it?
Personally, I do think that is kind of important to especially given that like the PS2 era was such a good era for video games.
I see.
And like kind of, and even before that, like kind of mid to late 90s era, like, because if I were to have a kid, I don't want them to grow up thinking that video games are movies, because a lot of video games nowadays are movies where you occasionally walk around in between, but video games are this thing that you engage with and that you have to sometimes like really think about and think, oh, how am I going to do this? How do I want to do this?
Yeah.
And that sort of era from like the 90s to the 2000s had the best aspects of all that.
I see.
So that's my thoughts.
I see. I totally agree with you, by the way. Yeah. And do you think like this golden era can come back at some point in the future or in the near future of video games? Like, how do you feel about that?
As I'm personally am more of a Nintendo fan.
Okay.
And I feel like they still have like
the fun aspect.
They're still good video games. Yeah.
I'm guessing that they are
4.
still focusing on the fun and all those IPs that they are not willing to sell.
Yeah, because I look over at like Sony PlayStation games.
Yeah, they are selling all their IPs to other companies. Yeah, and they are not continuing to release new games, or at least it's very hard to see what they are planning to do, of course. But yeah, I totally agree on that. Yeah.
I mean, I do think that I actually do think that that sort of like golden era of video games kind of has come back, but in a different way, where all of the like really good video games are super underknown and like
mostly indie games or smaller dev.
Indie games, smaller dev games,
because they don't have the big pressure by those big publishers and companies, and like we were discussing it earlier, they are not doing it for the money and the pressure that you have a deadline and just do it. But they are doing it for the passion, or their passion, sorry.
But they also don't have the marketing, so nobody knows their game exists.
True.
And you basically only hear of it through word of mouth, and either the game looks terrible but it plays great, or like the game looks amazing but it plays terrible. It's like, so it is kind of the golden era has kind of come back, but it's like very fragmented. So it's very much like music nowadays. There used to be like a mainstream and an alternative scene, and then nowadays the alternative scene is way bigger, but it's way more fragmented.
In my opinion,
so like
everyone would like to make a game or music, and it's hard to find the golden or how does it say? How they say the gems?
Yeah. Because nowadays, the big AAA games are just the safest thing you could possibly do. Sony tends to vary it up a bit. Nintendo tends to vary it up a bit, but other than that, it's just like
I don't know if it's if I'm going to complain about, if I'm going to be like old woman yelling at cloud. I think the thing I'd take umbrage with is just the maybe like just like the scale of production and like the like the pompousness of just like there's just way less stuff being made like at an industry level because so many resources go towards single large projects.
And that is what kind of what I was talking about earlier, was with like the art scaling stuff, where games are forced to look super hyper realistic nowadays if they're in the AAA space, that it takes years and years to develop these things compared to where it didn't before. So like you get companies with like, oh, we've been working on our game for a decade, and it's like, it's gonna be amazing, and then it flops because you spent like $60 million on it trying to just do the art assets, and it's like, oh, I guess we didn't make our money back.
There's also like a large faction of products out now that feel like they're specifically engineered to like trick you into giving them money, and like that's all they exist for. And that's like exhausting, like to engage in like video game spaces and just have your guard up constantly of like, is this trying to like social engineer me into becoming addicted to it, so then I start spending money on it?
I guess so, because
that's just like
there are more people working on it to have these kind of situations where people spend hundreds of dollars on a game. And after buying it, you still spend a lot of money on it. But I wouldn't say it's a bad thing. Like I was on the same opinion like what you are saying now. Before I started to play like all those multiplayer games as well, which have skins and all those stuff, and I was totally against them. Like I was the old school guy complaining about it, saying, oh, okay, it's bad, but now I say it's not that bad. Like it's just a different experience, but you still can appreciate, at least in my opinion, story-oriented games and multiplayer games, which will probably make you pay more after you bought the game, or if it's a free-to-play title, you can access to battle passes, skins, all those stuff.
I think it's the recent years of, I think we're up to like 20,000 layoffs this year. It's just the sort of recent years of how the industry has been treating its workers has really just cast like a negative.
But I feel like it's not a bad
over
thing
everything.
at for the 100% to think of like these people will find their way, in my opinion, and who knows, maybe they will make greater games and better games, if they form together, and that's what matters at the end of the day. If they are truly could stand out for their passion, they will be still doing forms of art, in my opinion, and not taking a break from gaming industry.
I mean, an interesting thing that my brother once said is that because like in the industry, a big huge problem with especially the video game industry is crunch, where everybody's forced to work super long hours, super hard on a game because they are not going to get it done in time. And so that's obviously a huge issue. But my brother once said that crunch is necessary, and he's right. Because without the pressure to become better, like you were saying earlier, a lot of the greatest artists were people who are poor. So like people who are poor making art, and it's like, oh, this is the only thing I can do, so I'm going to try and sell this.
Exactly.
So
they had to believe in the process.
pressure,
they couldn't just give up and say, okay, I'm not destined to do that. There was no other thing they could do.
And so the pressure to become better, to make things greater, do them faster and stuff, is kind of necessary for video games to even exist, because otherwise, we don't have video games. I don't know. It's
you need
a
a
bit
balance,
of an extreme.
You
do need
Crunch got like weaponized by like management to be a like cost cutting measure, because you can save money by getting more time out of the same workers in a shorter schedule.
Yeah, that's what I said in rebuttal to him. But
Crunch is a product of passion being exploited for labor.
Yeah, but I think it's way easier to set crunch for a smaller team, where thoughts and ideas are not shared across a lot of people, like at AAA companies. And I think that AAA companies are not succeeding that good right now, or some of them at least, because there are a lot of people who are working on it, and even they have the same passion and same ideas for the game. It's still hard, to get the idea from one person to another, and if there are, I don't know, 1,000 people working in a game, it becomes way harder. That process, of sharing ideas and still having the same exact thoughts to make that game good.
I know that a big reason that our team doesn't like to define public deadlines is to avoid crunching too hard. Like, we have internal deadlines, but not many that we're sharing publicly. Like, because for example, like, our demo was originally set to release in early 2024, and that ended up needing to get pushed back just because there's been a lot of bad stuff happening to some of our devs teams.
When we do crunch on Team Kanohi, because we do, and everybody does, like I said, it's usually when at least a couple of us have to be in a decent place, like the necessary players to finish what needs to get done have to be in a good place to actually be able to do that.
I see.
And actually finish the necessary things, So that is definitely a big reason to why we had to push back the demo, because a lot of people, like a lot of key people to finishing the demo, haven't been available or able to finish it. So
But
I see. Okay.
We've been working on it though. We're still working.
Yeah.
Will there
We
be
cannot
widgets
wait
in
for the game and for the demo as well. Yeah.
Yes, there will be widgets in the game. Will there be Takua? I saw that question about Takua. Takua will be there. He's not going to be in the demo. I don't think he's going to be in the demo. But he's going to be in the full game. You can look forward to Takua. Good Takua content.
Yeah. Widgets? Oh yeah, there's going to be UI widgets in there.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah.
Nobody knows what that means. Yeah.
At least I do, because I learned programming and I went to IT first.
Yeah. But yeah, that's the money. Widgets there are widgets. Yes.
The Oni Fox says, and I'm not sure who this could be. They say, I have a question. When am I getting my Team Kanohi sandwich? As soon as me and another Team Kanohi member come to your town and give you a hug. I don't know.
Give you a sandwich. We did cookies once.
By the way, are you planning to travel to Gamescom? That's my question. Or no?
No. We haven't done any big conventions.
I see. But are you planning to?
Mostly because
we showed up at Brick World Chicago. It's a
we've
big Lego. It's a generic Lego convention as opposed to gaming. But
we've showed up at Lego conventions before. Brick World that time, and also Brick World was it a year or two before that? I don't know.
Several years before. It was back in the Legacy days.
Yeah.
I was
and
way
then
younger.
in my town next weekend is a thing called Brickfest Live, which is happening here, which is another Lego event, and I'm just gonna go to that and hand out business cards to people and say hey, you heard of Bionicle Bicycle Legacy? I'm gonna wear my T-shirt that says Team Kanohi, and I'm gonna be as far as game conferences though, we haven't really done that because not only does it it costs a lot to actually get a booth there, I'm pretty sure, much more than a Lego one event would, and also we kind of have to have it have things in a good place to show them off, and a lot of the time there's things that are always in flux, and it's there's this thing's not working this week because somebody tweaked something, and so we kind of have to have things in a fairly playable place. Version. And also because we're not even ready to ship the demo yet, it kind of feels a bit early.
I see.
It's like if we were
Yeah.
nearing like the full release or something, or like a big milestone, then maybe we'll consider it. But
I see.
and also another concern that was brought up when we were talking about this before was that it does put us in the public eye a lot more in regards to Lego and stuff, which is not really a huge concern, but it is just something to like think about when we take that on, because it's like we're going to a game convention, you know, where all the official people there, like Sony's there and EA's there. It's
I
like,
see.
oh, we're right alongside them, so it's like, okay,
Yeah, making
And
sure
yeah, that
like,
might be a step too far as far as
yeah. Some people were like
What
saying
we're-
that maybe we shouldn't bring it that far.
yeah.
Nice.
it's still a fan made game, and
Yeah.
Lego's pretty. They want to make sure that like that's kept
Clear.
clear. That like this is not an official product.
Of course, if Lego were to sponsor us, we would go to
No.
I hope Lego is watching the stream.
If
Who
a
knows?
if a thing that has never happened happens,
Yeah,
I hope so. I hope so. I hope so.
it's
I hope so that it will happen, because I can see you guys working for Lego in an official way, and that would be so cool, in my opinion,
yeah.
at least. Yeah. Okay, I think that we are getting to the end of our show, Dev Live episode 6, and yeah, I'm very thankful and very honored that all 3 of you have accepted my request for this video interview. I hope you had fun, and we have discussing a lot of topics around the game and around the developing process and the life of developers. And yeah, hopefully we can talk at another time again. And I cannot wait to play the demo and for release too. And yeah, thanks for everyone for being in the stream. Thank you for everyone sharing their questions, sharing their love, and all the follows, all the support as well, all the subs. Thank you, everyone. And yeah, I will get back to everyone who had some questions or who followed or who subbed right after the stream. So thanks for that. And yeah, thank you again. I will close the stream and I will say hi to my friends here from the team behind Bionicle. And yeah, bye everyone on the stream. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
and may the
Bye-bye.
great spirit guide you.
And may the
Yeah.
great
May
spirit
the great
guide
spirit
you.
guide you.
That's our thing. We say that all the time.
Nice.
We always say it off sync.
It's me who's thanking everyone who was here. Thank you everyone. Thank you. Bye.